Hello, Oklahoma. Emma White here with a special Mesonet Weekly Sun-Up Report. Today we will discuss the misunderstanding of corn sweat. Using sweat to describe water release from crops is not quite correct. Rain falls on a cornfield. That water enters the soil. That liquid water is taken into each plant through the roots and it is transported through the plant. The plant has thousands of little stomata on the leaves, which serve as entry points to bring in carbon dioxide, but also exit points through which water leaves the plant. In practice, the stomata function as a door. When the door is open, the liquid water inside the plant turns into water vapor via evaporation inside of the plant, and then that water vapor exits the stomata. Thus, when the water leaves a plant, it leaves the plant in the form of water vapor, not liquid water. This process is called transpiration, and it cools the plant. On a dry day, the stomata door is generally open. So, like the description above, the water inside the plant will exit the stomata as water vapor. That vapor goes off into the air and the plant cools. The outside surface of the leaf is not wet with water, since the water when it exits the plant is vapor. Now let's think about a human sweating. The water on the inside of the skin is liquid water, and the water coming out of a human's pores is also in the form of liquid water. In other words, the water does not undergo evaporation coming from the inside to the outside of our skin. This is sweat. A dry day can help that sweat evaporate from our skin surface so that it is not wet for very long. Humans then cool. On the flip side, if the day is very humid, not much water vapor exits the plant stomata, and the plants do not cool much. For humans, we still sweat on a humid day though. In other words, unlike plants, lots of water still leaves our bodies on a humid day. But that sweat in liquid form will sit on our skin for longer because it has a harder time evaporating from on top of our skin in humid conditions. It's harder for us to cool as a result. So, one fact is similar between plants and humans. On dry days, it's easier to cool for plants and humans, and on humid days, it's harder to cool for both plants and humans. To further emphasize what the term sweat means, its definition is the clear, salty liquid that you pass through your skin. The water coming out of plants is not liquid water, it's vapor. Humans sweat, plants transpire. As one news headline did mention that despite corn sweat's nickname, it does not actually involve any sweating in our sense of the world, and it is instead known as evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration is the combined effect of transpiration and the evaporation of water from the surface, like soil. So when you see the term evapotranspiration, know that it refers to both the transpiration of the crop and the evaporation of water from a surface, like soil. To summarize, we have made 3 main points. Number 1, sweat is a liquid form of water that humans experience. Water vapor, not liquid, leaves plants. Plants do not sweat. When water leaves its system, it's called transpiration. Number 2, additionally, on a humid day, high relative humidity, humans lose water via sweat, but plants do not lose much water. As you can see on this graph, as there is more humidity, evapotranspiration decreases. Transpiration from plants and sweat evaporation from human skin are cooling processes. On humid days, cooling is limited for both plants and humans. The lack of sweat for plants applies to all houseplants, gardens, and crops. So when you hear corn sweat again, know that sweat is not the proper term. Transpiration or evapotranspiration are correct. And know that this process applies to all plants, not just corn. Thank you for listening.